and today I'm gonna present my project called Git Money. The project Git Money was originally created to help people to track their expenses, but in a different way. It is made in a form of some form of a sandbox, which allows users to transfer money from one category to another and also delete those transactions. And right now I'm just going to show you the project. For that reason, I'm going to start it. Yeah, I need to set up the server. Yeah, so the server is running and the front end is also working. So when we get into our application where we see the login page, I apologize that this project is done in Russian, but it could be easily translated into English. But today I'm just showing the overall functionality, and I think the language would not be a barrier. Alright, so we click a button that we don't have an account yet, and we are redirected to the registration page. We're just gonna enter our name, so silly, our surname, Nikonov, our login, just gonna use this one, but I think I already use it, so I put 111 here. We're just gonna add some email. Let's type in a wrong one, and let's type a short password of only of one letter. When we try to register, we see that the email should be in the form of example@example.com. So let's make it in a requested format. I don't know, some Firefox. Is it even an email? I don't know. .com. And right now when we try to register, it says that the password should be at least 8 symbols. I'm gonna write a password, register. We see the loader and we're welcome to our main page. We just registered, so a default user was created in our database, and here we can see our storages. So it is like different bank accounts that we have, or cash or money that we want to save, and also expenditures. It's the amount of money that we spend on rent, gas, food, online subscriptions, and free time. What I want to do right now is to put, for example, 1,000 rubles. This is a rubles. This is a Russian money sign. Just let's call it dollars for now. We've added $1,000. So if we click on this page, we can add more money. For example, 500. And if we click on this button, which says about additional information that we can provide, we click here and we see all the transactions. So we added 1,000 on 30th of September at 10:37, and also we added 500 here. And this is written that we added money from a different category. If we click on it, we can delete these transactions and our current balance will decrease. Right now, the bank has a bank sign on it, but what if the user doesn't like it? We just click again on more information and we can edit the icon. So we can choose the icon that we want. For example, we want like this icon. So we click change, and if we go back, we can see that the icon is changed. Let's delete this 500 as well that we just added because we don't need it. As you can see, it is deleted from the current balance and deleted here as well. Let's create a new category. So let's call it, I don't know, let's call it MasterCard. And we're just gonna put a present sign on it. We just added the MasterCard, and we can also add like $700 here. We just added this amount, but what if we don't like the name? We can also change the name, and we could call it, I don't know, Visa. We write Visa, and it is also changed here. Let's create another category. Let's call it Upwork, money that I got from the Upwork. I create it, and here I have an Upwork account. What if I want to transfer money from my Visa to my Upwork? Just like, it doesn't make sense, but let's just make it. Click here and we put I click on this button which says transfer money. We want to transfer money and we can see all other store categories: bank, cash, the money that we store, and Upwork. And here the current balance is displayed. So let's click on Upwork and we see that we can transfer money from Visa to Upwork. Let's transfer 500. We just transferred 500, and here we see that our balance just decreased from 700 to 200, and we see that we just transferred 500 to Upwork. And if we go to Upwork, we just see that we just received $500 from Visa. And even if we're in the Upwork category, we can delete these transactions. We click delete, and the current balance here would be set to 0, and money would come back to Visa. Another important feature of this application, as we already talked about stores, is the expenditures. We can also spend money. For example, let's spend $700, like $500 from Visa to a newly created category, and let's call it, I don't know, transport. And we're just gonna put a bus sign on it. Let's say that we just traveled from point A to point B and we spent $13 on it. We just take the Visa store category and we just put it up the transport, and as we can see, we are transferring money from Visa to transport, and we're just gonna transfer $13. We click transfer. As you can see, here on the Visa sign, Visa store, we were taking out $13, and here on the transport point they were added. But what if we never made this transaction? We go to transport and we automatically get redirected to the page. Here you can see how much money did we spend on this category at all times and the amount. And we see that it is transferred from Visa. We can also delete these transactions and money would be subtracted from transport category and they will be automatically added back to Visa. Let's spend some more money. Let's spend money on food, like 500 for example, and let's add more money to Upwork, like 300, and let's add it to food as well. Let's add 400, and as you can see, we just went to the minus. This is actually a feature that I really like. For example, you receive your monthly payment, but you forgot to put it in the store. But you're always, after you made some expenditure, you always go to our app and you see how much money did you spend. You put that information. And if you see a minus sign, it means that you can go back here and you can see that this month, for example, you did not add money to this category. So you can go back and you can simply add more to prevent the change. And yeah, money that we spend are still here, money that we receive are still here. So this is the functionality of our project, of how it works in basic terms. This was a newly created user, but let's go to the page of an existing user. Oh, and I also forget to show that if we log out, we press on this button, log out, we go out, and we're just gonna log in back to that user. All the information that we just did is saved, because everything at every time everything is stored in our database, and all the actions that you do is actually, I use Redux Saga to work with fetches. So before every action is done here on the front end, a fetch is sent to the back, and where I receive it on a special route. and the information is stored. But let's right now log out for sure. We just log out, and yeah, we see the login page. But what if we forgot our password? We click on this button, forgot password, and we're just gonna write one of the emails for which I created a user. I click it and I click on a button, send password. All right, let's wait a little bit, and yeah, right now I'm here at my email account, and we can see that we just received a password, and it's today 22:44, so it's actually the time right now, and this is our password. And if we're gonna use it, we're just gonna copy it, and we're gonna log in with the username for that email, and we're just gonna put down the password that we have and click on the button enter. We can see the user that is already created. We have different stores, different categories, and right now what I want to show you is one of the features which helps you to distinguish your transaction by time. So let's go to some transactions. All right, and here we can see that 5 days ago we were spending some money, and as you see, this is expenditure from a store. Yeah, and even if we're gonna delete it right now, money is still going to be subtracted here and added to the category. This is for expenditure part. But when we go to the store, for example, for presents, we click on the more button. So we can see that here we have different time spans. So we spent like 1 day ago we spent it 200, and we added, I don't know, is it 100,000, and 5 days ago we also did. As you can see, everything that all our different actions, all of them are in the same like time category. So what do I mean by that? Is that we spent to like online subscriptions here, we added money here we spend it, and so these are like two different actions. Here we're spending money, and here we're adding them. But as you can see, both of them are in the same category of time. Well, what will happen, for example, if we add some more money, like 400? We add here, and we go back to this page. As you see, we have this hour, and if we delete it, it will be automatically deleted, and all we have left is 5 days ago. We also think about our users to help them visualize the amount of money that they spend. So we can go click on this button and call graphics, and we have three type of graphs. The first one is a simple pie chart, and if we're gonna click on it, we will see how much money we spent it on different expenditure categories. So on rent we spent it 70,000, on food 12,000, on pharmacy 11,000, sport 10,000, free time, and all the info is provided here, and it is updated automatically. So you can see right now we spent 70,000 on the rent. If we go backwards to the main page, and we're gonna spend some more money, like let's add 30,000 more. We added 30,000 more, and if we go back to the graphs, and we can see that we have spent 100,000. So this is a real graph, and it takes real-time data. I'm sorry for the different colors because this is the feature that I want to work on in the future, is to have a certain color schema, but right now the colors are generated randomly for this category to ensure so we can distinguish them, because we can have an abstract amount of categories, and yeah, so we can distinguish the colors between two categories. So here we see that the time the amount we spent is updated in the real time. If we go backwards and we press here, this is a stacked bar chart. So what it's saying Here we have the number of names of different expenditures such as rent, car, food, online subscriptions, and we can see from which store category did we spend this money. So as you can see on the rent we spent 100,000, but what if we want? What if you want to see where did we spend it from? For example, we know that we spent 30,000 from our save money that we save. We spent it 25,000 from the cash, and we spent it 45,000 from the bank. Don't get scared about these amounts that I speak about, because this project was done for the Russian market, and in Russian market, $1 approximately equals to like 75 rubles. So here we have like more money, and this also works for different categories as well. Like we can see where did we spend money from for each expenditure category. But what if you want to see from which storage category did you spend the money? You click on this graph, and here you can see from which storage store category did you spend money for. So here from bank we spent it mainly on rent. We spent 45,000. From bank we spent it on our car 6,700, and from bank we spent it on food 9,000. And all the information here is working real time as well. So for example, here we have this category. This is number 4. As you can see, on food we spent it 7,000, so it's the top one. If we just going back here, we're just gonna spend from gifts to food. We're just gonna spend like, I don't know, 50,000 more. We spend 50,000 more. We go back to the graphs, and you see that the amount like is just skyrocketed. Like yeah, it gets updated. So this is quite the end for the showcase of this project. The thing that I want to show right now is more technical. So if you're interested in it, I'm just gonna open the Redux DevTools. Let's do it like that. Just gonna click expand. We're just gonna click Redux, and we just need. It's in the idle form phase right now. We just need to do something like we add a little bit here, 300. As you can see, there are all the different actions that we've done recently, and this is the following following info I have on the front end. We have a user. We're sending. Is it authenticated? Is it loaded? Is there an error? What is the error text? Is there an error? His Mongo ID, his first name, his last name, his email, his total money that he possesses right now. As you can see, I don't save the password right now to ensure the safety of the user. We can also see all his different categories that he have. Every category has an ID, value, name, icon ID, current number, and the UUID that I use. And actually, the categories don't save the transactions that we do. We have a special part in my Redux for them. We have transactions. As you can see, we have like ID of the transaction, value. It means like, is it a gain or a loss? From which store or which category are we sending it? An ID. As you see, the gain can also only has the amount of store or category that we added to. But for example, if we're just gonna add loss, it has a new parameter from. So from which category do we subtract money, where we add money. Yeah. This is sort of like the end. I'm just gonna spend more time on which technologies did I use for this project. This is quite the page to showcase like the other different expense trackers that I've seen on the web. And yeah, these are just like the technologies that I use: the React, the SAS, Redux to manage the state, Redux Saga to manage the side effects. We have also added is frame of motion as animation library. For the database, we use DB, MongoDB. In order to ensure that it works good with JavaScript, I use Mongoose, Node.js, of course, and Express to run the server. Yeah. I can also open the project right now. As you can see, we have a folder backend, and here we have our server. So the server has different routes. We can also open the folder with routes, and this is sort of the main page of the project. We have so I tried to use REST here. We use put, delete, batch, get, like all the different to manage everything. And also, as you can see, I'm not doing a lot with the database right here, because I have a special folder model where I have my schema for the user. Yeah, it didn't open. Let's open up it here. So this is a schema for the user, and this is quite a long file, because here we have a static to create a default user with all the default categories. And we have a lot of methods to create a new store, to find the transaction, to find the transfer, all such. So I don't need to. I'm doing all these manipulations on the database, not on the backend. This is for like to make my project more readable. This is for the backend, the thing that I wanted to show. On a front end, this is how I structured the project. We have different components: adding category, authentication form, category expenses, all the model windows. Yeah, this is all the components I used. We have different pages, so we also made use of React Router. For example, if we have opened for example, the income list, the main page, we're just having something happening here. We have like different model windows opening up. We're dispatching different actions of editing, transferring, editing icon. Yeah, and all the design is actually done via SAS in a special in a model style file. For Redux, I can show like this is an example of a saga. We have different actions. All of them are separated in different categories. We have our reducers right here, and yeah, the sagas to manage this. This is our root saga with all the sagas that are here. We have a registration saga, for example, add money saga, like we're sending a fetch of put to user ID and ID of the ID of 2, and we're also sending the amount here, and here we are yielding so we are putting like adding transaction, adding total money, adding money store success. So this action actually calls out this thing actually calls out an action that changes the state on the front end after we have done it successfully on the back end. And here are also all the action types that we used. As you can see, as we implemented Redux Saga, we have started, success, and failure. So on the started, we're listening to this action with our Redux Saga. We're doing the manipulations with our front end with store success, and if in case we have a failure, we're dispatching this action. So this is my project, and thank you so much for watching this video. Yeah, don't forget to comment it or leave a like, and if you're interested in like I can do the freelance job, and as you saw, I'm a little bit familiar with React, Redux Saga. I can set up a server on Express. So if any of that would be helpful for you, please contact me via my Upwork, and the link to both my GitHub accounts where you can see this project, and to my Upwork could be seen in the description. Thank you so much for watching.